Whakarongo ki te tangi a te kori mako. Kōrero flowing out the hook of force. Kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds, kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nā ko nā whakapiri mai ki te kaupapa tino whakahira hira. Whakarongo pi kari kari mai, hare hare mai. O Taringa hare hare mai. We gotta gather up close everybody. Gather up close everybody. Kani move that body. Kani move that body.
Tēnā hui tātou katoa. Ai tā tātou kaupapa. E taunaki ana i ngā mihi ko otike, engari e mihi ana kia Ngāti Wairere.
Kia ora.
Te mana, te tapu o te whenua nei. A o tira kei ngā iwi. Tēnā rā tātou. Ia kingi tuhei tia pōtatau te whero te tuawhitu pauherenga waka pauherenga tāngata. Anei tātou. E rere nei roto i tā tātou kaupapa. Ako Ararau, tau tuarua.
Tau tuarua.
Tau tuarua.
We didn't go biannual, annual.
Now you just cut that out. We got Ako Ararau and I don't want to get to Kotahirau.
Just kaue, wau. Ane mātou te tīmo Taringa, tēnā koutou. Kei te kitau i etahi o ngā manuhiri roto i ngā tau.
Ai, kia ora, tēnā koutou.
Here she might want to come up and be part of it.
Ai.
We can bring a chair up, just on the side.
Ai.
Maybe she might go buy a muscle fritter for anybody. Over there you can hear me. Please bring a muscle fritter.
The Turner's Muscle Fritters.
Yeah, kia ora. Bueno, kia ora.
Kia wha.
Turner's Fritters Auctions.
And when kupu, I had to leave the bustling metropolis. The traffic was terrible this morning. Peak hour.
That's the afternoon, it's not morning.
Well, in Taumatu, it's always morning.
Ai, nā koe tēne ko te wā miraka nore i whakawhiti ana ngā kau i ngā rori neha.
Ana, koe. Bueno, kia ora hui tātou.
So, heo no tēnā koe tai. E whakataki nei a tātou i tēnei ahi. And yes, it's good to be back, Taringa, on stage at Ako Ararau. I didn't get the invite last year.
What?
Yeah, you heard. I didn't get the invite last year back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was Tario.
Ai, ka pai, but...
It was the OG story.
No, it's all good. And I must say, parao ne, tai, I'm loving the shoes. You got the colour coordination going on.
Ai.
Yeah?
Mahui iau te pānui.
No reire, mihi atu ana e hoa mā. Ai, ko Ako Ararau tēnei. And, you know, we got a vibe this year. We got a vibe.
Another vibe. It was pretty vibing last year. It was vibe.
Oh, taumata atu anō tēnei. Yeah, taumata atu anō tēnei. And it's just, you know, it's the opportunity for whānau to draw on other whānau and their experiences. Hei whakahihiri anō i a rātou. Ne? Nō reira, kia mōhio mai koutou. Ko paukatoa ngā tīkiti ara no atu e tehi toru rau, whārau rānei e hihi ana ki te tīkiti kari whai wāhi mai.
Kia ora.
He tohu tēnā o te nui o te hihia tio o Ako Ararau.
Kia ora.
And it's a beautiful thing for our community. They're bringing our people who are interested in our Māori community to come together and celebrate who we are and to draw on one another. So, of course, you know, Taringa's been going for a long time and we can't have Ako Ararau without Taringa e te whānau.
Nā koe, tēnā tātou.
Ai. So, you know, this session is going to be a kupu focused session, but ko te hia kia tukua mai he pātai kia tātou. Ne?
Okay.
So, e te whānau, if you have any grammar questions, we are going to be live, trying to answer all of your grammar questions that you may have. And of course, we're going to be giving away some merchandise, some Taringa stuff. Yeah. We got a big budget.
News to me.
Oh, we got a budget. But only if you got a question. Yeah, related to the reo.
He patapatai.
He patapatai tēnei.
And let me just help reframe that question. It can be anything you ever wanted to say in te reo. Ne? Because I know when people hear that word grammar, it's like me when I hear maths.
Oh.
Yeah, right? When I hear maths, I think back to school C.
Oh.
And I know a lot of people are
a lot of people are going, what's that? When you hear
grammar, you see this big, thick book of grammar terms that only MC Grammar is familiar with.
Or knows how to read.
So tērā pia, you might have a sentence or you've always wondered, am I saying this right? How would I say this? Who would I say this to?
Tika tēnā.
What shall I talk about when I say this? When shall I say this? How shall I say this?
Well, you know, and I'm going to put my tokoroa whānau in it, because not only 10 minutes ago, they were trying to build up the courage to ask Auntie Pans to sign their book.
Kia ora.
Auntie Pans, and ka hara mai ki au. Me te pātai mai, how do we say to her, can you please sign my book? And they thought, do we start with kataia? And you know, it's just those pātai that we have, and sometimes we let our reo Pākehā guide us. They're going to hate me for this, because this was expressed in confidence, but we are live on stage.
Well, what is the answer though? How do we say it?
Well, first thing you got
about the journey. We're going to
yeah. But first you got to be careful of what we sign. Ne te iwi ne.
Yeah. Well, basically what I said to them is that how you phrase it is, you're going to sign my book, please. Ne? So, and how you would say it is, Māu taku puka e waitohu, ne? O tēnā koa, o ka pai koe, Māu taku puka e waitohu. Yeah? And these are experienced speakers of te reo Māori, but Auntie Pans just does something to everybody, ne? Yeah.
Aye.
She's got that presence.
She has an aura.
Aye. Ne? So, you know, ko ngā āwangawanga, ko ngā mānuka-nuka, kei roto I tēnā, e mau tonu nei. Yeah? So, you know, talking about being here at Ako Ararau and trying to find inspiration, I'm going to put our first question out.
Wait, hold up.
Yep, okay, what?
Are we doing a kiwaha?
Oh, we're going to do a kiwaha after.
Okay.
This is my...
Kia mau ki te kaua o Taringa. Kia mau ki te kaua o Taringa.
All these years, he moio au.
Me whakarongo pi kari.
So, you know, ko te pātai, who do you find inspiration from in terms of your reo journey? Ne? Ko wai kei te whakahihiri I a koe ki te ako I te reo. So that's probably my first question. And I'm going to put it out to our audience. Who do you find inspiration from in terms of your language journey? And that's how we're going to start our kupu.
Oi, pātai pai tēnā.
Ka pai, to reira. Ka hara, ko waira.
Mā tātou mā.
Ki te iwi.
Ki te iwi, e hoa mā? Does anyone want to come up? Because I've got... Actually, I'll start. Now, I'll start. I've got someone who I find inspiring. And she's going to hate this. But she's sitting on my left.
Kia ora.
And you're probably thinking to yourselves, well, what are you talking about, Jared? It's Erica is always being vulnerable, live on air, live on stage.
Yeah.
You know, and it takes a lot of courage
Kia ora.
to put yourself out there.
Pentoko.
Kia ora.
And being able to navigate your way amongst some speakers who are more fluent than you, but having the courage to actually be your voice, Taringa's voice on the podcast, and making those mistakes or asking those questions that a lot of us don't actually want to ask.
Kia ora.
So I find inspiration from Erica Tuahine ko koe.
Oh, thank you.
Because I could never be that vulnerable. Yeah.
I feel like you could.
Oh, Jared.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, you know, I don't think I'm doing anything special. I'm just being myself.
Ka pai?
Yeah.
And koina.
Koina.
Yeah, koinake.
You do the heavy lifting for a lot of people out there. I'm talking to you, listening right now. Erica is the voice, the curiosity, and the questioning for those who aren't able to do that.
Tika tēnā.
And that is, you do the heavy lifting for a lot.
Sometimes I
for me,
feel...
I'm like, yeah, I know, go ask Erica.
Yeah, well, you know, taking that in mind, like sometimes I feel like I do need to work harder on asking my questions sometimes, because in the back of my mind I'm like, oh, I've got to represent the audience here. And yeah, that's one thing. But I just want to talk about who I'm finding inspiration from at the moment, and I feel like a lot of parents will probably relate, and at the moment I'm finding inspiration from my kids.
Koia.
Like, it's so cool that they get to go to Pinareo and Ko Hungahunga, and then they come home with these like new things they're learning, and like at the moment my girl's using kataia e blah 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 a lot, and yeah, it's just so cool to see the fruitions of these types of institutions, like, to see ngā hua.
Tika.
Nice.
Ia
What about you, Paroni?
Tai? Ko wai.
Iau e ohi ana. O me pono au. Iau i te kura. I hihi au ki a haere ki te kura o te wehi.
Eki.
I te kura o Ruatoki.
Ai.
I te mera kāre tino, ko Ruatoki, ko Rākau manga, ko Waititi, koina nā kura rongo nui
Tika.
o te nawa.
Ai.
Kāre he kura ke atu i roto i te whakaaro, koia te taumata. Ka mutu, i tono au i aku mātua i taku māma ki a haere ki Ruatoki, ka rau i moho i kei whea Ruatoki, moho noho kei tūhoi. Ka mutu, i wini a Ruatoki i ngā whakataetai kapahaka a tainui te arawa mā tātua.
Ai.
I tūai e rātau i ngā iwa te kau.
Ai.
Pīti a Ruatoki i te kura o Wetini Haiti. E whiti tau pēa o Wetini Haiti e tō ana, i taumata tuatai. Ka taumā Ruatoki, me te rereke o te āhua. Tūhoi ana te tū, Māori ana te tū. Kei raro ke o Wetini Haiti e putu ana. Ana nō reira ko te kapahaka anō hoki tērā i... Nō reira ai, koera te momo i tērā wā, ko hau pēr, ko hau anahe, i pirangi haere ki tērā kura. Engari, mo te whakahiri tangata nei, ko taku tupuna, ko taku kuia, nā runga i tana meuaua ka kōrero Pākeha katoa ia ki au.
Ai.
A o tira mātou, ko tōna reo Pākeha, karewe ki he pigeon, but she was fresh. She was fresh. She sounded very fresh off the boat. You know what I mean? Koera te ao te reo taku kuia, kari moe ki te tuhi te reo Pākeha. Nō reira koia tētei, iau e ohi ana. Ai, ana me te kura o Ruatoki, me tērā reanga.
Pewe kia koe hei?
I roto i ngā tau, ne?
Ai.
Tai ana koe ki tētahi taumata, ka kite koe i tētahi atu kei taumata ke anō, kei kua tui a koe, koe a tētahi whainga.
Tika.
Hoi no, ka timata kia timata pē ki te wā, koe pāngu mai koutou i taku kōrero mō tipene, hoi no. Koina te wā. Koina te wā i puare ai tētahi ao ke anō ke au. Tēnei mea te Māori, te reo Māori.
Ai.
Pēhea te tū o te tāne Māori, ētahi o rātou. Hoi no, i reira rā ko tō mātou tumuaki o tawa wā ko te ururu Flavel. I reira hokea Weremu Tauhiti, Pierre Linden te ankara o tēnei. Ētahi tāngata e whakātu mai tētahi āhoranga poka kēnei kia hau. Ana reira koina te taku timatanga.
Ai.
Hoi no, ka kake haere, ka heke, ka piki, ka heke, hoa. Engai, ka kiaki i tēnei rā, e raka ana taku taha maui. Hoi no, e nui ke ake nei ngā te hunga e whakahihiri nei i au. Ka kite au ngā painga. Ka tīpako ake ngā painga. Whakaro ake ki taku reanga, tō tātou ake reanga. Aku hoa e upoko pakaru ana, i roto i ngā kaupapa reo.
Ai.
E tēnei wā tonu ko tātou kāhui nei, tātou katoa. Hoi no, koia tēnā ko te hunga kei te tihi o aku mahara.
Yeah, that's awesome, because we find inspiration from different sources, from different people at different stages of our reo journey, ne? And that's what Ako Ararau is about, ne? The many pathways in language acquisition. You know, so what pathway may suit you at a particular time can change.
Yeah.
Tore re tika ana tēnā. Hey, Erika.
I just want to jump on the end. Currently, e tika tēnā, you know, you go through your journey and there are different points of inspiration or realizations.
Kia ora.
Where inspiration is hidden. And iau e te turana ki a rangi, you know, presents me to the fact that there's so much inspiration in our taiao. Tātou e rangahau nei tō tātou reo i a tātou tikanga. It's never ending. We find a space, we get in there, we open it up, and we rediscover things that have been laying dormant. And so the taiao is big inspiration to me.
Ai.
You can go in, if you look at rangahau all the names for the rains, the winds.
Yeah.
We've had the stars, the clouds. That's just up there. Ne? All the different insects, the karakia associated with them, food, kai, it's endless. Ne? You think, e pai ana te oro te reo, e pai te oro te reo, but we can all do much more mo te apopo. The challenge is always looking at te reo is people, they want to see the tree straight away when they put the seed in. And a lot of what we're doing today, we're not going to see the rākau that springs from that tree. Engari o tātou mātua tūpuna, koina te ao, koina tā rātou titiro. They were future-proofing. Ne?
Tika.
And me pera o tātou whakaaro. Nā ki au, ko nā mahi oti nei tātou i tēnei wā. We're leaving a legacy, and we're leaving a light. I runga I te huarahi, ne? And we're like that kākano. Shouldn't be worried about just planting the seed, but nurturing it so that the next generations can sit under the rākau and eat the apples or whatever's going to grow on it.
Yeah.
And it's not like here stands the rākau that Prane planted, it's like here stands the rākau for our mokopuna.
Yeah,
Hey, kura te tai, kāro anō. Yeah.
Well, Erica,
Yes.
it's pick on you time, eh?
Great.
It's pick on you time with all the aroha that
He
we
was
can
lining
muster.
it up. He was lining it up.
Yeah.
I know.
And you know, because you asked about the kiwaha, so I'm going to use the kiwaha, and I want to see if you can give me how you interpret that kiwaha, ne? I'm not too sure if it's kiwaha or not, but we're going to roll with it.
Okay.
So if I was to say, anō te pai, he hara ki a koe te tikanga o te rā kōrero? He hara te whakapākehatanga
Anō te
o te
pai.
rā kōrero?
Like-
Anō te pai.
Like it's better than good. It's like this is amazing.
Yeah, ka pai.
Yeah.
Ne? And we hear that a lot, you know, because there's Ngāti Haua, or there's
Yeah,
a waiata, ne? Anō te pai.
Te pai te ahuare kai.
Yeah, ka pai tēnā. Now, if I was to use that same anō theme within a kiwaha, and I use the kiwaha, he wahine anō. Hea te tikanga o tērā. He wahine anō.
Like, okay, so like, oh wow, she's another kind of woman, like another level. Like, I don't know, is that on the right?
And you know, I'm looking at some of the tāne and they're going, well, when I think of he wahine anō, that's a different thing in whakaaro that may come out.
Are you thinking
but we'll keep it.
like he wahine rereke?
Or is it he wahine anō?
Yeah.
Or is it I don't know.
Tarawi te paku mo yo.
Ko rango na tētai kōrero, haino.
Yeah, so when we use he wahine anō, that anō gives emphasis, ne? And we can see within the two examples that we've got anō te pai, yeah, and that's how we would start our sentence. Or when we're describing someone, he wahine anō means like, what a woman.
Oh yeah.
Ne?
That's what I was
woman.
getting.
What a lady.
Ne? And please don't try and link that to your previous rākau kōrero. We just don't have enough time. So we've got anō te pai, or he wahine anō.
Oh, Jared, he tāne anō koe.
Oh,
Sure.
e tāne anō māu.
Your next kiwa. Engari mo tēnā.
And you know, and the reason why I want to have a bit of a conversation about the use of anō is because sometimes we use it in an incorrect way. And a lot of the times we do that when we use anōne.
Kia ora.
Ne? Anōne.
Whakarongo mai te iwi e tahi o koutou ke roto nei.
And so a lot of people would lead out a sentence using anōne when the English equivalent would be and also, using it like a conjunction. Hapai?
Yeah.
When in actual fact, anōne,
It's as if.
as if.
As if.
Hapai? Yeah, and so that's something that we want to try and clarify here,
Kia ora.
because there's a lot of people that use that and don't really realise that actually it's an incorrect use of anone. There, so like we've got a backstage manager. Her name is Te Manawaroa. Yeah, she's been a bit of a bossy boost today. Anone koia te kuini.
Koia nehe na. Koia nehe.
Koia nehe.
So like as if.
As if she's the queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just being able to clarify the difference between the different uses of anō, and just be aware if we're going to use an anone, it's not anone.
Kia ora.
Yeah, so he tohu tō anō I runga I te ā.
Kia ora.
Ko te anone, as if.
As if. So what's the correct way to say the thing that people are saying wrong?
Oh, so like in addition to that, well, there's quite a few ways you could say that. Yeah. He tauira tau e hei?
Ka whakaro ake ki Waihoki, Kamutu.
Oh yeah, Kamutu.
Hei, tāpiri tētai whakaro ki tētai anō whakaro he tāpiri apiti atu ki te whakaro ko kōrero tia kētia.
Ai, tika ana tēnā. So, with the whānau, that's probably another way we could explain anō and anone. Whakaro e tai?
Just e piranga te kōrero mo te whakapapa o te hapa, o te he tuku iho.
Tika.
And I'll use this anone because it's come up recently. So I rongo I tētai koroua. Koroua pai ki te kōrero Māori. And for some reason, he was using anone in the incorrect way. Ne? In addition to, anone, anone, I can't even use it wrong. Anone, ka haere tātou ki te kai, anone, ka tīmata te hui a te whitu, And e koroua mōhio. Anyway, later I went up to him and I says, hey, hea te tikanga o tēnā rerenga ki a koe te anone? He goes, well, ai orite ki te apiti atu ki tēnā. And I says, well, e hara tērā I te tikanga o te. He goes, ne, wei rongo au I taku mokopuna e kōrero pērā. And taku mokopuna, he mea haere ki ngā kurareo.
Hei apa kurareo o.
Kei kurareo o te mokopuna. Ka korau ki te, I reira te mōhio e koa I te mokopuna. I says, hey, your grandfather heard you e kōrero ana I te anone. Now, I he tana rongo I te akoranga. I te kurereo I reira rā ia. So what he heard, or what he thought he heard was wrong. So that's how he was using it. And koe rā tētai ahotanga I te ao Māori, and this was interesting because it was the other way. The grandfather was using his mokopuna. We went to the kurereo as validation for him saying or speaking how he was. A lot of us do that the other way. When we say something and he ana, and someone nicely, in the most polite way, corrects us. And then we say, well, I heard my nanny speaking like that.
Right.
Tika tēnā.
And I
feel like sometimes it's a trump card for people.
Yeah, they think it is.
Okay, no, I think it's just argue the point without actually taking on the
and then they just have blocked ears. They won't be open to even
all the defences come up, eh?
Because your nanny's your nanny, your koro's your koro, te me. And I had this debate the other night on the A-O. And this person had a few cup of tea, so he had the courage to have this debate with me. And he said, I want to tell you something. Oku whakaro mo te A me te O. Okay. And he launched into his presentation. And he used this tupuna as justification, and he had letters and da-da-da-da. Now, this fella likes maths. He's an accountant. And I says to him, okay, well, my grandfather told me that 5 times 10 is 80. He goes, nā, kei te he tēnā. And he looks at me and goes, oh, shit. As soon as I took it away from te reo, I te mea ko te reo, he mea tērā e kōrero ana ki o tātou ngākau, I te mea he Māori tātou.
Ai.
Yeah.
So be careful with the anone, kia tika te whakamahia, and especially when ki te whakamārama koe ki tētai, e māramana te tangata, otherwise you might end up like Koro, who heard his mokopuna, who went to kurereo, and he he.
the pātai is, my friend here is talking about the use of anō hoki as if anō nei in its misuse.
Ai.
Ka timata te rarangi ki te anō hoki. It's just say anō nei. But you might hear nō ki.
Ai. Well, kia au, he kua porohanga te kōrero I kona, so they've cut it short, ne?
Ai.
And a lot of people do use, anō nei, anō hoki, where really, I think the fuller extension should be te rā tu anō hoki, or te rā anō hoki, ne? And that in addition to, as opposed to the anō hoki. Ka pai? So it's just retraining our ears sometimes, ne? Because we take a lot of shortcuts, ne? And even though I hate the kōrero, and he's not even here. He's over in Rarotonga, ne? Another member of Tupora. He's on holiday.
Oh.
Yeah, he's on holiday.
Anyway. Chekia ni te rata
ne, but he ka hara mai tēnā tangata ki Tokoroa. And he said something. Ko Greg.
Ko Greg.
Yeah.
Oh, Tieki, right?
Tieki. Yeah. Awau. Tama. Yeah, ka pai.
Oh.
That's how Ngāti Pro. And he said something, and I had to agree with him because sometimes...
Did you?
Yeah, it was painful. But he said, sometimes language isn't a science, it's an art. And sometimes a lot of people get all caught up on the wete reo.
Kia ora.
And... And ki te titiro tātou ki a tātou mō tētea, tērā e te hi hapa kei roto, ne? But, it's an art form sometimes.
Aye.
And, when I think of anō hoki, sometimes we do get caught up on ngā hapa, but sometimes ki au nei, I te hi wā merere te reo. But kia mahara, ara te hi huarahi tika,
Aye,
te huarahi tika ki I tērā.
Aye.
Yeah? Ka pai, do we have any other pātai from the people in the audience? E kaha nei ki te tuku whakaaro mai, tuku pātai mai? Oh?
I know you're sitting there thinking about something in te reo, and you're wondering.
I've got a couple from our Instagram, actually.
Instagram?
Yeah.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, let me find it. Okay. So, this was from H28. When do we correctly use the whiore tia on kupu such as katoa or tonu, like as in tonu tia and katoa tia?
Okay.
I've also wondered this myself.
I like using katoa tia. I use that often.
So essentially we're going to have that conversation about our pūmuri, eh? So our...
Who's pū, no?
Praone. Yeah? So we're going to have a conversation about our pūmuri or our postposed particles, yeah? So it's the ake, tonu, kau, ke, yeah?
Okay.
Postposed particle. We've had this conversation twice before.
So
Postposed particle. Yeah. Ka pai?
So not the fiores, those words.
Well, yes, but those fiores.
Those words that we can add fiores onto.
Yes, those passive suffixes, the tia, ka pai, can be added to 5 words within that group of the postposed particles.
Okay.
And there's the lady there.
The PPP.
Ka pai, Auntie Pans.
Yes, I was at that.
Come up with an acronym there, and it's kanataraka, or contract. Yeah. Kanataraka.
Kanataraka. Kanataraka, wauna
and it's
tata.
our contract, ne? And so when we have a look at our contract or our kanataraka, say it properly, Jared, carefully. There are 5 pūmuri, or postposed particles, that we can use the tia with. Yeah. So the first one is, so we have ka, which is ko.
Ko.
Yeah. Ko. And then the next one we have is na, which is noa.
Oh, noa.
Okay? So we have ko,
Na for noa.
The next one we have is ra, which is rawa.
Rawa.
Oh,
Yeah. Ka, na, ta, ra, ka pai. And then our next one, our next one is ra, which, that's our
la.
Ko, noa, ta is the tonu.
Tonu, ai.
Yeah.
Tonu.
Na is the noa. And the ka is the
Ke.
ke. Hapai is the ke. So you can say kautia. Now that's a hard one.
Right.
That's a hard one. You can say kautia. You can say noatia. You can say tonutia. You can say rawatia. And you can say ketia. Yeah? And they're all part of a whānau within the post-posed particles there.
Kia ora.
Yeah. Ka pai? So those are the 5 particles we can use the tia with.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how do we correctly use it in a sentence?
So there's 2 ways. Ka pai?
And it was tonutia and...
tonutia
and katotia.
Now you see, katotia is a different type of word. Yeah. It's actually not a
Is it depending on who's marking your...
Katotia te raiwi.
Yeah, ko moko a katotia tana tinana.
But it sits in a different type of whānau.
Whānau,
So when we talk about the ketia, kei te tuhia ketia. Kua tuhia ketia. Yeah? So those are those 5 words. There are other words that you can use like katotia, hairetia. So as an example, haere we know is a normal verb. But when used in a passive sense, ka pai, it can add more context to the sentence.
Yeah.
So, kei te keria te rua. And that's an example I use all the time. Kei te keria te rua, the earth is being dug.
Not that.
Not that. What are you going to say? Not that kei te mōhio au ki te rā mai.
Ma te hai te whakaari.
Yeah. No, kei te keria te rua. So how would you say, I'm digging around?
Using one of those PPP words.
Wow. It's in a different whānau. Yeah? So how would we say, I'm digging around?
I'm digging around in te whānau.
Digging around.
I'm digging around.
Digging around.
I'm digging around. Come on.
Want a t-shirt?
I feel like Te Atapo knows the answer over there.
Te Atapo.
Oh, hea te horopaki.
I was digging around.
Digging around in the garden. Ka pai. So
Keri haere.
Kei te keri haere. But if we use it in a passive context, how would that come out?
Give it a go. You went
Give it a go.
All the cameras are facing you, by the way. Kei te keria ai. Kei te keria haeretia. Te whenua. Ne? Kei te keria haeretia. So those are another group of words that can also take the tia as a passive.
Right.
Right? Because they're not necessarily particles.
Okay.
Aye.
It's an actual word.
It's an actual word.
I've seen.
Yeah? It's an actual word.
Taringa, taringa.
A tēnā tātou anō. So the question is around passive. So when we enter into learning the language, te reo Māori, we learn active sentence structures. But as we progress, we step into the passives and using the passives. Now the question is, when we go to use passives, hea te rerekētanga, well, it's obvious to see that and hear that, the difference. But is it more of a choice thing when it comes to using passives, or is it more the sentence structure that you're inclined to? Like, why is it that we're encouraged to use passives more when we can almost achieve the same thing by using active sentences?
Wondered that myself.
Yep, he pātai pai tēnā. He whakaro o tātou?
Going back to the statement that language is an art.
Yep.
And Māori, tātou te Māori, that is a key point or key point of difference in the art of our language.
Yes.
Because we preferred, o tātou mātua tūpuna preferred to use the passive. It's not that we didn't use the active. And if you were to compare it to English and other languages, for instance, call the people. Karangatia te iwi. I write that in English, call the people. Now, for it to be imperative to show that I'm telling somebody to do it, and the intonation, I would have to probably put an exclamation mark on it. Ne? But an exclamation mark's a bit too strong.
Yeah.
Karangatia te iwi.
Aye.
Ne? And that's for the future tense. Whereas in the past tense, now I'm thinking of another example, the manipulations you can use in regards to passives, there's more of a choice and a plethora and colour than there is in English. Ka pai? And that colour, koe nau me nei, koe nei nā ahuatanga o te reo, Māori nei, motuhake nei, e ki nei au, he reo wairua te reo Māori. Ne? Now, I don't mean wairua, wairua. But in terms of presenting colour and tone,
Aye.
and all those things, I believe are more present in te reo Māori, and a big part of that is the passives.
Tēnā tātou. I'd just love some clarification around tungane and tuahine and the use of it. So why Darren can't say to Paraone, tungane? What's the, I've heard men say it to one another and it confused me.
Not me.
I just love some clarification around, why.
Ka pai.
It's where as Tiwi Māori, and actually globally, we're getting into a very interesting space. Yeah, we're getting into an interesting space when we getting asked what your pronouns are. Hey,
Yeah.
oh, you know what I mean? And we don't have the expertise to go there. But in terms of tungane and tuahine, well, our grammar is quite clear. So that tuahine is only to be used for a sister of a male, and tungane is only to be used for a brother of a female. And he pai tērā, because actually throughout te reo o te moana nui a kiwa, he pērā. So throughout the languages of the Pacific, if we take Samoan, for example, we have tuangange and tuawhawhine. Ka pai, so those, when we have a look at the whakapapa of the reo, kei te whakaputamohio a Jared, aye, but when we have a look at it, that's actually whakaputahamua. Those rules are actually set in place, ka pai, across the Pacific. Here's where it gets interesting. So when we're having a look at tuakana teina, ka pai, so that's another whakapapa term that we want to have a look at.
Yep.
When we have a look at tuakana teina, ko te iwi Māori he iwi whakapapa. So we knew our whakapapa. And it's interesting that, and this was told to me by Waldo Hoia, ka pai? That there's,
Porangi pai.
E rā mea, aye. But he actually said when a whole lot of, a conference of women got together, someone actually got up, and I won't mention her name, but she said, tēnā koutou tuahine mā. And he kuia mōhio ki te reo, ka pai? But she was finding a way within the one term to address everyone within whakapapa, but she didn't know if you were a tuakana or a teina. Had no idea in terms of the whakapapa.
Yeah.
And so she was trying to find a term that could be used to address all of those women. And I find that interesting. Ne? I mean, she could have kei aku tuakana, kei aku teina, and cover all your bases. But it actually, ko Waldo he oe tino tangata, he tino kaumātua. And he found that interesting that, our women at that time were trying to find a term that didn't rely on whakapapa as such. So, of course, we have she used tuahinema. But, strictly, when we're talking about tuakana teina, tuahine tungane, the rules are set in place across the Pacific.
Right.
Apai. And he mea nui tērā, koe rā ngā honohononga ne, ā reo nei. So, kei te pai tēnā? Whakaro atu anō?
Just to pick up on probably the space where no one's going at the moment because nobody wants to upset anybody.
Yeah.
So I'll go there.
Okay.
And it's the fluid, gender,
Yeah.
kōrero. And no, I'm not an expert I te rao, engari, ko taku mōhio kei te reo Māori kei ngā tikanga. So I'll stay there. And it's presenting some spaces, I will say that we need to negotiate in. And I'm not going to say compromise, but negotiate. And I can speak on this because I was at a panel there was me and 6 others. They were meant to be at the hui with the Human Rights Commission to talk about gender. And I should have had a bet. I should have put $100 on that my other 6 mates weren't going to turn up. Because it's a space where we are talking about, but amongst ourselves, but not in wānanga. Because, and that is why, and I'm going to pick up what that kuia, the reason, it wasn't because she didn't know, she didn't know it was tuakana teina. She didn't want to upset anybody by saying kei ngā teina.
Yeah, tirohanga tikanga.
She's being polite.
Aye.
Ne? But because a lot of people can take umbrage, don't you call me, you're my tuakana.
Yeah.
Ne? And the same with tāne. And we got these new words now, prata and...
Coat.
Yeah.
No.
So we want to be polite. And it's through being polite that we're not having these discussions.
Yeah.
And we've sort of touched on it in Taringa, and this isn't that episode. And I've actually ko whakarita i etai kia wānanga tātou. Anyway, my mate that ended up sitting through the hui with me, he was a driver for the person that didn't turn up to this hui with the Human Rights Commission. Ko te tama tēnei a pau tēmara. Ko tū tāwe orangi. E se pei, te tika no tēnei hui. E no mai kia moe mai koe. No mai, he hui pai. Anyway, ka putanga te kaupapa o te hui, ka se ta pei. And he goes, Saliva, you're going to sit here? We're representing the views, the ethos of te reo Māori. And we didn't speak. We listened for the whole day. And it wasn't until the end, 5 hours, rima haura māua e whakarongo ana. And we were getting told, this is how you should use te reo in regards to us. This is what ia means. Teina and tuakana are going to become redundant. Tuahine tingane, all of that. And we just sat and listened. Te reo Māori and tikanga Māori come from a place of tikanga of collective consciousness.
Tika.
The tikanga that I abide by and follow, such as mana, tapu and Māori, they're not just about me. They're about everybody as a collective. I don't prescribe to the fact, to some people who think, you should use this word because that's the word I want you to use, it's about me. We need to find some words and ways of using them that we're all okay with, that we're respectful with, and we can be in the space of, I understand why you think like that. Now I want you to understand why I think like this, and why I speak like this, and why our tupuna spoke like that, and why we're still speaking like this.
Tika.
Because it's pushing our kaiako into spaces. So I get one of our mates, rings me and says, look, I got someone in my class, they asked me, what do I use in regards to my aura, in regards to my sister? So there's a he tāne tēnei. He said, well, tuahine. Well, she doesn't identify.
Oh, yeah.
So now it's put the other person in a quandary. Nā kei te ki te koutou, ko te collective consciousness mo te katoa. Kei te pōraru ia, what is the word I use? Because kāre taku, kei aia te aroaro, so genetically ai e wahine, engari ono whakarokao, e harau i te wahine.
Right.
So he's asking, what word do I use? And I said, I'll get back to you. This was last year, this is the beginning of last year. And I've had this conversation, and nobody's going there. So we need to go there. Going there isn't today. And we need to have when I say the right people with the right heart, because it is a sensitive conversation, but it's one that needs to be had, because e raru ana te hunga ia ko ana te reo. E raru ana mātou, e raru ana tātou. No rea koe no ku whakaaro ki tērā, because I know that that's a space where it's going. But otherwise, if you're a man, you call me o tuakana o taina. E me mea wahine koe, well, koe tō tūngane, and you my tuahine. Kia ora tātou.
Kia ora.
Taku pātai kia koutou, kei te rongo mai koutou. Ngā kupu hyphenated. Hei a whea, tohu tōngi ai te ā. Pēnei te waia Taringa, te kura āiwi, e rā kupu katoa. I te mea e ki tēnei au, e tahi katuhi tohu tō, e tahi kāre. Kāre pēnā, nō reira. Ko tehia te mea tika hei whai māku.
Kia ora, pātai, pai tēnā.
I roto anō i te ahuatango te hyphenate.
Me te tohu tō, ka kōrero mo te waia Taringa, kare a roto.
Wānanga aiwi,
Wānanga
aiwi, tohu tō.
Ai.
Waia Taringa, tohu tō. Ai.
Me taku mōhio, and kei te hēpea, engari taku mōhio, ko te ā, he tohu tērā o te tāpiritanga ki te tumu o te kōrero. Ne? Nō reira, hea te momo waiata, o he waiata aiwi tēnei. Ne? Nō reira, ko te ā, he tohu tērā o te huarahi, e tūhono mai ai tērā kupu, ki te kupu tuatahi. Nō reira, ki au nei, katoa, he tohu tō.
Nō reira, e hara tērā i te...
E hara i te ā o?
Ia.
E hara tērā i te
possessive o te mea.
Kāo.
Kapai.
E huarahi atoa nō tēnei.
Kapai.
And I must say,
Say it then.
because if you're going to talk about gender, I want to talk about this.
Okay.
Our tohu tō on some of our TV advertisements are sometimes frustrating.
Sometimes, all the time.
Yeah.
I just seen a premiere movie that there's some tohu tō missing on...
Aye. And people say, you know, and this is probably a good point to start wrapping up our conversation, yeah? People say, well, that's how we say it in our iwi.
And there you go, see?
Yeah, that's how we say it in our iwi. I heard my kuia, apai. But, you know, in terms of the ovs, 99% of the time, an ov doesn't have a tohu tō on it. Ka pai? It's just...
Pōtai kore.
Yeah, pōtai kore. And sometimes you have a look, and it was quite funny. There was one advertising campaign that a certain company put out for a particular matatini, and they printed all these bags. Yeah? Millions of dollars spent. And I just took one look at a kura reo, I tāmaki makauro, and I said, e he ana tērā. Yeah. E he ana tērā. And so, you know, korori are just those simple things. Yeah? Because a lot of people look to whakaata Māori, ne? And e whakatairanga nei te reo.
And about
those simple things.
those companies,
Aye.
I'm working with one at the moment, and I'm the ambulance.
Aye.
So ambulances make money these days. And they put a tohu tō on something. And kua tū ngā pihi o tētai iwi, because kua rere kē te tikanga o te kupu, and I'll be very careful about I would say, because then you might do your homework and find out who it is. And iwi they're angry because same thing, everything's being printed. Thousands of them. And in my hui with this company, I did a bit of investigation. I said, who advised you to put the tohu tō on? Oh, it was good advice. From who? Larry? You can answer this. You're in the blah blah office. We're all in the same Zoom. Bridget, she's in da-da-da. Bridget goes, Peter. Peter goes, yes. So who did you get the advice from? That's bureaucracy, by the way.
Yeah.
And this is how hapa happened as well. And he goes, well, I went back to Sally and said, you know, who do we have in our team with who could advise us?
Aye.
They didn't have a pautikanga. They didn't have a head of te reo or anything. Ne? Was one of their staff members who can speak Māori, very good speaker, but this is in her field of expertise.
Tika.
So he asked her, and she said, tohu tō. Ne? And then Sally tells Harry tells Bill tells Peter,
Chinese, what's
came
this?
from a good source. Ne? And it went to print. Nā kamupene rā, if we see something e he ana, kau e waiho kia haere ana.
Tika.
Ki mihi iahu mai ei te he I whea. And I did give them just was a polite growling actually. And I said, look, if you were seeking legal advice, would you go to Harry, who goes to Sally, who goes to Bill, I said, the lady behind me who knows a little bit about law, gave me some advice on legislation. Kore kau. Me mutu tō tātou, o tātou whakaro, Miki, tērā hunga, te whakaiti tō tātou reo. Oh, we just went over there ki tērā Māori, ki reira. Ka pai, and that's probably where that hapa head came from.
Yeah, tika tēnā.
Was that the answer you were looking for? Oh, okay, just checking.
But the other
Because
thing, ka noho mai ko taua tuahine rā, ko te papo o taua hi.
Koina.
Hey, that's the other thing.
And I told them not to blame her.
Not to blame her, yeah.
I just wanted to just quickly ask. You know, it's like for kupu like tupu ānuku, and sometimes like it's written in 3 separate parts, like tupu hyphen a hyphen nuku.
Ka pai.
And then sometimes it's written as one thing.
Ai.
What's the difference? Like, is there a difference? Is there one right way we should be doing it?
I think me whai e tātou te puka ko otike I a te taura whiri te tuhi.
Ai.
Koroto rā ngā ture kato mo enei kupu.
Ai.
I think it's 6 plus syllables. Koina te wā e huri ai koe ki te wā wāhi I te kupu. Hei tā te ture o te reo ko otike.
That's a good rule.
Yeah.
Ai.
Pēnei te pātai, I pātai a mai e koe kroria, kei roto kato I te orthography
Ai.
o te taura whiri. I a kamupene, I a tangata, me rapu taua puka rā. That's all in there.
Yeah.
Kamatu he hono taku hoki ki taua puka, kia tika taku whakapai.
Ai.
You know? So, yeah.
Yeah, ka pai.
Che, cool.
And just on that, with the orthography, it will tell you when it comes to spelling personal names,
Ai.
no te tangata te ingoa, no nā no te mana, ki te tataki I te tuhinga o tana ingoa. Ne? So I know some people have got uppity about tō being stuck on their names. So just be careful with that one as well. And Kingi Tuheiti is a good example. So one time I pulled up the W, Oro Ahara. And they said, oh, you want us to put a tō? And I said, no, I just want you just the one U because I know that's how the king spells his name.
Ai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a Mac on and he doesn't have 2 U's. So, kia tūpato tātou.
Ai.
Me whakarongo pi kari.
Well, you know what, Ehuama, it's been an awesome time here at Ako Ararau. And I just really wanted to reassure our Taringa listeners that, you know, you are doing a good job trying to learn our reo. We're not going to get it perfect all the time, 100% of the time. And sometimes, if you're that person, e mahi nei I tō wāhi mahi, and because you have some knowledge of the reo, ahakoa iti nei, you're automatically a registered translator, you're a kaumātua, pautikanga. Sometimes we need to have the courage to say, actually, Kyle, I don't feel comfortable in this space.
Yeah.
Ne?
Well, koina hoki tō mātanga. Pena horakau koe e mōhiana ki te whakautu, mōhiana ki te wāhi e haere ai ki te rapu I te whakautu tika.
Ai.
Pena tō mōhio,
Nō reire, Huama, koinei a Ako Ararau I tēnei tau.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Me taku mihi atu ki te hunga I tuku pātai mai.
Kia ora.
Ne?
Kia ora.
He kaha tērā, no koutou te kaha ki te tuku pātai mai. Ko te tumanako I puta tetehi māramatanga a ia mātou e mihi atu nei. Mau hei whakakapi, wāhanga ki a
Kei whi he kupu I tu atu I tēnā, engari, ko tāku, he mihi ki a koe, ki a koutou, a ki tā tātou kaupapa.
Ai.
Kōwhiri mai anō I a taringa ki hoki mai, ki te manaki, I tā tātou kaupapa. Nō reira, no taringa te waimarie, e mihi ake ana e tai, o tira te whānau kia rohu I tātou katoa.
Tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou.
Hei kona.
Hei kona.
Me whakarongo pi kari. Get the rope close, everybody, buddy. Taringa. Yeah, tahuri Whakarongo ki te tangi a te korimako. Kōrero flowing at the hook of force. Kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds. Kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nā ko nā whakapiri mai ki te kaupapa tino whakahira hira. Whakarongo pi kari kari mai. Hare hare mai, o Taringa hare hare mai. We gotta gather up close everybody. Gather up close everybody. Kani move that body. Kani move that body.
Taringa, he mea tuku nā te wānanga o Aotearoa. Nā te māngai pāho me irirangi te motu I tautoko. To listen to more episodes, search for us on your podcast app and subscribe, or follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Taringa, whakarongo mai.